Yo, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. You guys can tell I'm in the garage, the car's in the garage, so that means I have both good as well as bad news. But honestly, it's more good news because I'm 90% sure I found the issue that's causing this car to act up. Some of you guys are right, some of you guys are wrong. I personally was wrong, but I also did find some modifications done in the car that the owner actually did not tell me were done that are amazing, because I was literally about to go ahead and buy some of this stuff, but now I can quite literally save myself thousands of dollars in both parts as well as labor. So if you guys enjoy the channel and want us to update with anything to do with Mustangs, 99 to 04 Mustangs, S550s, specifically GT50s, make sure you drop a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and also turn on those post notifications, man. All right, so moving into the rat's nest of the trunk here, you guys can see that I went ahead and connected some of the wires that were also, disconnected. This actually did fix the issue for the time being for like 5 minutes, and then it started up again. So the electrical issue that I thought we had, which I was like 99% sure we had, was not the cause of the problem. But the good thing about this is I kind of cleaned up some of the wires a little bit, and I also still have an OEM fuel pump module on the way. So this dormant unit that I have on here right now, just as a temporary replacement, because I thought that was going to be potentially the issue, that's going to get swapped out for the OEM unit, which is going to be a massive W. Now, this is also part of the bad news. If you guys can see here in this kind of battery tray, there's a lot of battery acid in here, so I'm under the assumption that the battery that was in the trunk before this one blew up. Now, I'm not too sure how that happened, but yeah, we're gonna have to make sure that does not happen again. So once I do get this car running, all this like lining here, I'm pretty much gonna take all this out, get this professionally cleaned up, and then I'm gonna properly go ahead and like line this trunk to make sure that whatever happened back here doesn't happen, because I don't really like the way this is set up. When I did buy the car, it was running, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and fix it after I go ahead and do some touches to the car. Now that I know it's an electrical issue, all this is gonna have to get redone, touched up, because I really don't like the way it is. This fuel pump fuse here, I thought this was the issue, but it wasn't. This is actually a new fuse. This did not fix the problem. The inertia switch is plushed in, so I know that isn't the issue. So the electrical issue that I thought I did have is no longer pretty much the factor, which I guess we can eliminate that. But I guess the good news about this is I'm getting a new driver module here that's going to be the OEM, and I'm going to be getting this all cleaned up because I really don't like the way this is set up right now. I honestly do not like the way it's set up at all. Now, for those of you guys who have your batteries relocated in the trunk, this is the first time I've dealt with a setup like this. Personally, I don't really even think a setup like this had to be done because there's plenty of space in the engine bay. Let me know down in the comment section or reach out to me on Instagram how you set yours up, because I definitely want to go ahead and clean it up back there because it's literally a rat's nest. And I don't like that, because if something were to go wrong, you don't really know where to start, and that's kind of the issue that I'm having right now, ironically. Now going ahead and getting underneath the car, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but my radiator is actually leaking, which is unfortunate, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and replace the radiator. The thing about the radiator leak is it only leaks pretty much when I drive the car, or at least I should say limp it to my garage, park it, and then it leaks. Sometimes it leaks on both sides, sometimes it doesn't, so it's not like a consistent leak, which is really good. So technically I could go ahead and drive the car. Actually, I do get it, oh, I say that as it leaked. So yeah, you saw that. The radiator is leaking. And like I said, it's not a consistent drip, but it's something I'm definitely gonna go ahead and take a look at. But if you guys can see back here, I don't know if you guys can. You guys can probably see the stamp. This car actually does have a K member, which is a massive dub. Oh, I think you can see it leak right there a little bit, like I said. But this car does have a K member, a QA1 K member, which is a massive W. Now, if you guys are unaware, K members are huge on cars like this, especially a car that I am going to be turning into a race car. And pretty much cleans up a lot of space in the engine bay, and it's also going to go ahead and lighten up the front end and overall just kind of lighten up the chassis a good amount. Now I was actually going to go ahead, don't want that to happen. I was going to go ahead and actually put a K member on this car to lighten it up even more, because obviously it is going to be a race car, but don't have to do that. That's already done, and that's going to be a massive W in my opinion. These K members, especially with the coilover setup, which I'm about to get into because it gets even better, that can get pretty expensive. It's like $2,000–$3,000 right there that I don't have to spend. So that is a massive W. So we got a QA1K member on the car. I really wouldn't have noticed that unless I didn't notice that radiator leak. So I guess, you know, that $200 inconvenience saved me a few thousand, because I really wasn't gonna look under the car. I'm not gonna lie, because the previous owner had a pretty detailed list. This wasn't on there, so that's a huge W in my opinion. Now, since we are talking about weight reduction and me turning this car into a race car, the passenger side seat as well as the driver's side seat and the rear seats are currently for sale. These are gonna be the S197 Mustang seats. They're in fair condition. I mean, the passenger seat's in pretty good condition. These are slider seats as far as the passenger goes, but the driver's side, as you guys can see over here, it does have the power options, but it is just on a slider rail, as you can see down there. It's in pretty decent shape. I mean, these seats, they're not bad, but the thing about these seats is that they sit lower than like a stock new Edge seat, and with obviously with the cowl hood, it does make it a little bit harder to see over the top of the car. And these actually weigh a little bit more because it does have the power option. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get a racing seat in here, or potentially a Kirky. So this is for sale, this is for sale, and the rear seats are for sale as well. I'm only gonna have a driver's seat in this car because obviously it is gonna be a race car, and I don't plan on taking anybody with me in this car at all. So all this is gonna be for sale. Let me know down in the comment section, or reach out to me on Instagram if you guys are interested. I'll let this go for cheap. I'm gonna be listing these on Facebook in 24 hours. So if you wanna crack at it, let me know. I kinda wanna get the new seat in here before I do go ahead and send this car to get pretty much fixed up and retuned, which I'm gonna go ahead and talk about very, very shortly. Down under the engine bay, there's some things I wanna go ahead and point out. You guys can see this is where the battery used to be, so in my personal opinion, there was definitely plenty of space to go ahead and keep this up here, but it is what it is. You guys can see that I actually took off the power pipe on the Procharger. This is just for a temporary thing, because I was thinking maybe the filter was dirty, which was causing some issues. It wasn't, so the power pipe's gonna go back on here. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a new catch can, because this is just really bad. Like, I don't like that at all. So I have a new catch can that should be coming in tomorrow, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that installed. You guys can see back here, I believe this is like this because there probably was some issues closing the hood, even though it does have a pretty decent cowl, so I don't know if it would. But you can see we have the 4 Innovations fuel regulator here. It does not have the gauge on here, so I'm gonna put a gauge on here as well, so I can go ahead and monitor that. Probably should have done that already, because I probably could have figured out if the car was getting adequate fuel pressure, but I mean, it's gonna go in to get fixed. Who cares? You guys can see back there the 4 Innovations regulator. So we're gonna go ahead, let me go ahead, oh, that's tight. We're gonna go ahead and get a gauge for that. I don't think it's gonna hit anything. Maybe it was gonna hit this cable, I don't know. We're gonna find out if it hits that cable. But as also what I want to go ahead and show is this car does have maximum Motorsports suspension. I didn't notice that looking out of the hood. I noticed it now. So it does have maximum Motorsports, the coilovers. It has the QA1K member, and the rear end, I don't want to say it's built, but considering the fact that this car has a K member, it has the coilovers, I'm gonna make the assumption that the rear end is built. Probably shouldn't make that assumption, but hey, when this car is running, we will sure find out if this rear end is built. We're gonna find out, because I'm gonna be changing the gears out of this very, very soon. So if there's any issues or anything that, you know, slows down that progress, I'll know real quick if that rear end is built. Now, I am planning on dropping off this car to get pretty much fixed up next week. I'm taking it to CU Indian Racing in Pearland, Texas, the same shop that set up the white New Edge that I did have, the 4.6 liter 2-valve car that was putting in some work on the stock bottom end. I trust Cliff over there to go ahead and get this car ready to go. We're gonna fix all the issues. I have a new fuel filter coming in, and hopefully that is fixing the cutting out problems. If it does not fix that, we're gonna swap out the pump. It's between 1 or 2 pumps. We'll figure that out once the tank is dropped, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the car retuned, and we should be good to go to start getting some hard pulls and to start racing the car. Obviously, I wanna change up the rear gears and put a better tire on this thing, but we should be good to go. We should be booking it in this thing. It's gonna be a light car. I definitely wanna put this on a cat scale because I do believe this is gonna be a low 3,000 pound car. The way it is right now, after I take out the seats and everything and go ahead and do some other minor things, I think this car will probably be like 3,100 pounds with the 5.4 block in here, but that's still really light for something that's gonna make, you know, obviously 650. Hopefully it makes, you know, 650. I'm expecting it to make like 580 though. You know how people are when they tell you the modifications. But with the bigger head unit, 700 plus horsepower all day, that's gonna be plenty for a car that only weighs 3,000 pounds, and I cannot wait.